like related sports?
That is actually an excellent question. Part of my job is actually to dispel that myth. In the Pyeongchang Olympic Committee, so we call it, where I work, it's called POCOG. There's 1,280 employees. Out of the 1,280 employees, I guess maybe 10% have a degree in sport. So in any sporting organization, they need accountants, they need lawyers, they need designers, they need communication people. So it's basically, if you want to work in sport, that's just the industry that you need to focus on later in life. First, I'd recommend to focus on a degree or like a field of study that you're good at. So if you're an artist, if you feel like you're good at art, major in art. And then there are positions in sporting organizations for that. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, you don't need a major in sport to work in the sports industry.
Thank you. We would like for the questioners to briefly introduce themselves just for the sake of letting our guest speaker know which school you're from and your background briefly so that we can have a more fruitful discussion. Are there any more questions?
Yep, there's one at the back there.
Good morning, Mr. Kim. I'm Ziming from Hwachung Institution. So I'd like to ask, how do you find the sports education in Korea in general?
To be perfectly honest, not too good. Korea focuses on elite sport. So the main focus is producing winners. And I'm personally against that. For me, sport is not about winning, it's about what I talked about before. But that is a trend that is slowly changing. But it will take a long time to change. But I know a lot of you, I don't know if you know, but like if you're in a baseball team in a Korean high school, then you don't study. You basically just play baseball. And then if you don't make the university team or you don't make a professional team, then you're kind of in limbo because you didn't really study. And a lot of my job is I visit these sports high schools and I mentor these athletes about, look, it's not, you can't just be playing sport. You need to be studying at the same time. And I think that's the difference between Korean and Western culture in Australia. It's when I played competitive rugby, all my training was after school or before school. It was never in school. And all the matches that I played was on a Saturday. But in Korea, it's a little different.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, at the back there, young lady in the pink.
Hello, I'm a senior in the Global Leaders Program. My name is Wonyoung Lee, Iwonyoung. Thank you for the presentation. I think I was very lucky to have this opportunity to listen to your presentation. I have a question to ask you. Did you always know what you wanted to do?
No, to be honest. Some people do. I know I have friends that did. For me, it was 22. I ended up doing a certificate from Cambridge University in like adult education that I actually randomly did as well. And that kind of taught me, oh wow, that whole education field is really awesome. And so yeah, I was a really late bloomer. And so I was 22 before I made the decision to go into the education field. I actually knew early on that I wasn't going to go to medical school. I just did a cost analysis and I said, look, I'm not going to waste this much money. And my parents were again, they kind of flipped to the Australian side. They said, well, college is your problem, you pay for your college fees. And then I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I was a late bloomer. But yeah.
What could you say or like advise to people who are sort of in like considering what they would want to do in the future? For example, like what they want to major in college?
Try it. Try it. I mean, that's what interns and, I don't know if they have it in Korea. In Australia, we have work experience programs where in high school students in the summer or winter break, they go and work for somebody's company. Like it could be your parents' company, your parents' friends' company. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Try many different things because for me, I didn't know until I took that education course that I want to work in the education field. So yeah, that's the experience I want to, advice I want to give everybody is, like I said, try something. I mean, you're young, you have time. You turn 20, you graduate from college, you won't have time for this. Once you get your first job, you're kind of set. So yeah, go out there, have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think there was two behind. Yeah, just.
Hello, my name is Sue from Bugil Academy. You said you learned failure from the sports, but how do you motivate yourself or your team after the failure?
One thing is I don't get angry at my team. If something doesn't happen, I think anger is, and blaming somebody is counterintuitive. For me, if I'm leading a project and it fails, it's my responsibility, and I should take the blame. I don't blame anybody else, it's just me. And because I know I can deal with it. But then we sit down and we do an analysis of what went wrong. And also what went right, because even if you fail, it doesn't mean everything failed. When I run a education project or when I'm doing the bobsleigh, something went right and something went wrong. And we just sit down and we make a list, and then we just do some more training. We train everybody about this, make sure everybody knows about this. It's passing on our failure experience to other team members. So I think that's how I mainly deal with it. And right behind her.
Hello, my name is Arram Kim from Bugil GLP, and I really enjoyed your session. Because personally, I did badminton when I was in elementary school, and I learned a lot. And my question is about the interest, and you said to do 100% on whatever I want. And my interest is quite spread out, so it is quite hard to do everything 100%. So would it be better to narrow down into one goal or still pursue every interest but control the effort?
So if you have varied interests, you can't you can't participate all the time. But when you do participate, you can participate 100%. I think there's a difference. I mean, for me, my schedule, I actually play a lot of sport now. I play baseball, I play ice hockey, I've got some tennis going on the side, and golf. And those four sports, they meet twice a week. And for me, it's impossible to go twice a week for all those sports. And then I've got some other activities. But then I make a conscious decision. If I can't go, I can't go. That's something that, and then you have to prioritize. Okay, is this more fun than this, or is this going to be more beneficial than this? Then you just for me, I just make a plan, and I let everybody know. Like I let all the team members, all the other activities. I'll be here just once a week. I'll be here twice a week. But then I go. When I go, I give 120%. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I think there's somebody up here as well. Okay, we'll go 1, 2, 1, 2. So those gentlemen, yep. Well, there's a lot of questions.
Hello, I'm Victor from Suzhou Foreign Language School. As you said, you have made some mistakes in your life. So what I'm curious about is there anything you can do to persuade yourself after you do something that you regret?
When I was younger, and this was really horrible, when I did something that I regretted, I kind of kept it in me. It took like 2 or 3 days. Like it was, I kept thinking about it, and just, why did I do that? But now for me, I just work out. It actually just takes my mind off things. If I did something, sometimes, when you say something to somebody and you just came out the wrong way, I'll just apologize and then I'll just go for a run. I don't know if that will help you, but that's how I deal with it. It takes my mind off it, because I think a lot of people, what they tend to do is when they do something bad, they always put it in there, they're always thinking about it. And for me, I go for like a 5-kilometer run and then go to sleep. Okay, so I don't know if that will help you. Okay, there's somebody here.
Hello, I'm Emma from the Global Leadership Program. So I play lacrosse, and I feel like injury, not just mine, but my teammates' injury, influenced me a lot. So I think you briefly mentioned that you were injured while playing rugby, so can you tell us how you dealt with it?
My injury was actually quite serious. I tore 4 ligaments on my left knee, and then also ripped my Achilles at once. That was actually very interesting. The first time my mum came to watch me play rugby. And it took me a year to get over it. It took me a year to learn to walk again. And that's when I made the decision to quit rugby. And when I say quit rugby, it was quit competitive rugby. I kept playing rugby socially, but just because for me, it was just very clear. I don't know how other people think, but for me, I was 16, and I knew that if I couldn't walk for 1 year, that I would not be able to play at the level my friends were playing at. Because at that age, you're developing so quickly, and your skills are developing. Everybody's getting bigger and faster and everything, but they are here just sitting down for a year. And so, for me, I just made that. I was like, well, this is factually not going to happen, and I'll keep playing socially, but I will now focus on my studies. So, yeah. But I mean, everybody will get injured at one time or another. That's something that you just got to live with playing sport. But like for me, I couldn't walk for a year, but now I'm running, so there's that. Look at the positive side. Okay, one more lady. Sorry, is there a time limit for this? Or?
We'll entertain a few more questions until we see.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Lee from Bugil Academy, and I wanted to ask you about my future, job. So I have this dilemma where my passion, since I was little, kind of does not expect my parents' expectations. And because my passion has been art since when I was little, but to, talk more in depth, I wanted to be an illustrator, but my parents want me to have a job that is, in a way, more better in the economic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about how you went into a major that wasn't your passion, but rather your parents' expectations. And I wanted to ask you whether I should pursue my passion over my parents' expectations, or should I just follow my parents.
Okay, just one thing. Does your parents know that I'm talking to you about this? I don't want an angry mother call. No, I'm joking. The one thing that thinking back about my major was actually, I always said, why did I double major? Why didn't I just take 2 majors? Or why didn't I just study a little bit longer? Because once you get your bachelor's and you want to get your second major, it's another two years of study. And just for me, that's what I kind of regret, and I'm too old to go back to school. And I've been kind of thinking, should I do some online courses? But yeah, I mean, there's always an option. Majoring, 2 majors, and follow. I'm not gonna say, don't listen to your parents, because yeah. But for me, yeah, I know what you're feeling, because I had that same feeling when my parents were pressuring me. And back then I felt like I had no choice. And then I made that decision. But thinking back, older, I was thinking, why didn't I do 2 majors? It was a little bit more work, it will be more work, double majoring, but then I was thinking, well, I could have done that. Or I could have stayed in college a little bit longer. And then you've got 2 options. And then, like I said, you've got 2 options. You can be majoring art and the other major your parents want you to be. And then later on, you have 2 career paths that you can select. But then in Korea, to be honest, I've seen a lot of people where their majors and their jobs don't really match. So there's always that option. I don't know if that was helpful.
Thank you.
Okay. And the gentleman in the center there, yeah. Am I missing anybody at the back? Oh.
Good morning, Mr. Kim. Thank you for the sharing. I understand from your sharing just now that prior to leaving college or leaving university, most of your life was actually outside of Korea. So I'm not sure whether that would mean like a less attachment to your culture and your home country. And how does it feel like coming back to Korea and having to pick up the language again and having to be used to the culture again? Is that a personal challenge to you?
Yes.